So I'm going to try to make this as interactive as I can, but we're going to be rolling pretty fast because normally we would do a 90 minute session, but we're going to try to do this in an hour. Okay. So we're just
Okay.
waiting on for Carter because we can't see him.
I'm going to try and help him.
Okay. And I'm going to bring up my screen while you're doing that. Well, actually, before I bring up my screen, what I want to do.
Press mute.
So we're ready. So here comes Gary now. Here comes Gary now. So do we have everybody? I guess I can't. Let me see. Let me check because I didn't get out of screen share. Okay, we got everybody. Gary.
Yeah, I can stay for a little bit.
Okay.
We've had like 3 people in my family with COVID, so I was been up since like 3 this morning. So if I look a little bit
Well,
bedraggled, but I want to at least hang in there for a little bit.
I completely understand. So really quickly, you get a chance to meet Jane. So we're gonna go through introductions in a minute. So what I want to do, you guys, again, I appreciate you guys joining. So the first thing I want to do is just to get us started. There's multiple videos that we like showing, but we're not gonna be able to show all of them. And so I try to pick out what I thought would be best today. And so Jane was telling me that you guys are athletes. And so I said, let me show you the video on the athlete. Now, it's an older video, but it's a really great video because it's really pretty much shows American young people. So let me go ahead and let's get started. We're going to watch this video, and then we're going to get into the presentation. We're going to get you guys interactive, ask you guys questions. We're going to get to know you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and watch this video. If you guys can take notes, one thing when we walk away, I need to know 3 things that you learned from this presentation. Okay, so let's get started. So we're gonna watch a 14-year-old investor who became a millionaire. So he's 14 years old and he started investing and he was a millionaire. So let's check it out. Here we go. Let me go back. Takes a second. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
We can see it. It's still
Okay.
trying to play, but
Yeah. It's been slow. YouTube been slow lately. I don't know what's been going on.
yeah, everyone's on it probably because of COVID and all that. All these kids are doing online learning.
Yeah, I guess everybody's trying to catch up. Let's see if I can do it. Let me stop and go again. There you go.
He's only 14, but Damon Williams is already walking in the shoes of a seasoned investor.
Well, tell me, what are you worth?
I think I'm a shade over 50,000 right now.
How much?
50,000 right now. My portfolio.
You're 14 years old?
Yeah.
You know, when I was 14, I was thinking about riding horses, not the stock market. Aside from that thing about being a super successful investor, Damon's a pretty normal kid. He doesn't always clean his room, as you can see, but he is a top student and a model.
Pumping up and down is Mr. Elo.
Actor. And the starting point guard for his varsity team.
Yep, it's gone.
But this is where he really scores big.
I've gained $1,000 in coach.
You gained $1,000 over how long? How do you find out? How do you research stocks?
There's tons of websites about that you can go. You can go directly through the company and go to their website.
And what are you looking for? What do you study?
Like, you know, certain gauges, like a P ratio or, you know, dividend yields, growth over the last 5 years. It has to go up consistently because, you know, history repeats itself. I look for the growth rate has to be at least 15%.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I mean, can't you just go play a video game or something?
Yeah, but it'd be much more cool to know that I own a piece of the company that makes that video game.
Ah, right. And remember those shoes we saw a minute ago? Well, they're what got Damon started investing in the first place.
I'm an avid basketball player, and I love the basketball trends. So there are a new pair of Jordans coming out, and of course I wanted them.
And
My
your mom said?
No, she didn't really want to buy them. So she said I had to save up to buy a share of Nike before I could buy another pair of shoes.
That's because Damon's mom learned some tough lessons of her own. It was the 1990s. Deep in debt, April Williams figured she'd teach herself and her son some financial discipline. Damon got it, and today he has 54 shares of Nike stock, along with a whole lot of shoes.
How many of these things do you have?
So I probably get about 10 pairs of Nikes a year.
His secret? He says his shoes are like money. Both are compounding over time.
It compounds in interest, and it grows faster than the rate of inflation.
I really wanted to know if he's tempted to trade in and out of his stocks.
No, I'm not really that much of a fickle investor like that. I'm more of a buy and hold type of guy.
He, quite frankly, is sort of off the charts ahead of his peers.
And it turns out, many adults.
What financial ratio does a stock analyst consider when evaluating a company?
I have to say either a P ratio or a return on equity or earnings per share.
What are unrealized gains?
Unrealized gains is the money you've made on paper. Cash would be the realized gains.
Damon's even teaching other kids how to research stocks. So where'd he get all his experience anyway?
Did you learn it from the Rich Dad, Poor Dad guy, Robert Kiyosaki?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Did you learn it from Susie Orman?
You can do anything you want when it comes to your money.
No, she knows what she's talking about, but I don't think she taught me much.
How about Jim Cramer?
I think you should back up this truck, Chevron.
He's very entertaining, but I don't learn much from him.
Now, when I'm posting you, I'm backing you in, right?
Yeah.
I taught him to be excited about being an owner, to own a piece of Walgreens, to own a piece of the company that made that Happy Meal for him that he was always begging for. Or, of course, as we know, to own a piece of Nike for all those gym shoes he has to have.
So we're going to stop there. So I'm going to bring into the presentation. So I want you guys, while I'm bringing up the presentation, I want you guys to take 20 seconds to think about what did you get out of that particular video, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with Blake. So Blake, if you just share like one thing that you got out of the video.
Probably that Nike is a good stock to invest in because he got a lot of money from that. I thought it would be a good stock to invest in.
Okay, and I can't see everybody because of my screen sharing. So if you guys can just go ahead and keep on going. The next person.
I guess that'd be Jordan.
Yep, Jordan.
I got from this video is to study or just look at the PE ratio, growth rate, and earnings per share to decide if it's a good stock or not to invest in.
All right, that's great.
Great job. Okay, Carter.
What I got was that to not always listen to the people on the internet because they might not always be right, and study the PE ratio and earnings per share and equity.
Good. Great job.
So we got everybody. So the next question I want to ask you guys, because
still though, Jeffery, we got Aiden. We still have Aiden.
Oh, it's Aiden. I'm sorry, it's Aiden. Okay.
I learned that kids can earn as much stocks as adults can.
All right, I love it. I love it. So let me ask you guys this other question as we continue to move forward. Have they taught you investing at your school or any time while you've been in school? So we just go around the table right quick.
They did for a little bit, like at our old school. They had like the stock class we had to take, and we took it. It was a pretty good class.
Okay.
Not in the public school, though.
Oh, not in the public schools. Okay. Okay, so all that was private.
I could see a private school doing that. Yep.
Okay. Okay, great. So the name of this webinar is called Generation Next Wall Street. The becoming a billionaire, being part of the Billionaire Club. So now you guys are officially a part of the Billionaire Club. You guys are gonna reach a billion. We used to talk about a million. So
It
that's
was a
like
million
to
for
talk.
us, Jeffrey. It was a million, but now it's not that much anymore.
What'd you say, Gary? I missed that.
Now that's not that much anymore. Yeah, it's got to be a billion to get people's attention now.
Absolutely. Well, the young people that I was talking to, young people, they were like, "Nah, I don't want a million. I want a billion." And then somebody even said, "I want a trillion." So it keeps on increasing. So I'm not going to, your mom, hopefully she shared, a little bit about what we're going to be covering today. So I'm not going to cover that, but, we're going to have a little fun. So let's do this really quickly, and we're going to go around the table. So I'm going to ask you guys to give your name, give the name of your school, your grade that you're in, your age, your favorite class, and let's do your favorite food, and then what's your favorite company? So we can do that really quickly. I really appreciate it. We're not going to do
Remember,
your
half
favorite
of those,
hobby.
Jeffrey, they're doing good.
Yep. We're going to
Wow.
pass the hobby, but if you guys can do that, that'd be great.
All right, Blake, you go.
All right, I'm Blake, and I go to Hopewell Middle School. I'm in 7th grade, and my favorite class is PE, and my hobby is to play basketball and baseball, and yeah. My favorite food is pizza.
All right.
And my favorite company is probably I guess you could say Nike or some of those shoe companies, I guess.
Okay, great. Who's next?
Jordan.
Okay.
Maybe Jordan.
Jordan, I'm in 7th grade. I go to Hopewell Middle School. My favorite subject is science. My hobbies are sports and electronics. And my favorite company is Tesla.
All right, the Tesla. So
That's a good one.
you said, what's your favorite class?
Science.
Okay, science. Okay, great.
Science, man.
Carter.
My name's Carter. I go to Hopewell Middle School. I'm in 8th grade. I'm 14. My favorite class is PE, and my favorite food is Chinese, and my favorite company is Lamborghini.
All right, Lamborghini, get it going on. All right.
International investments, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Aiden.
All right, my name is Aiden. I go to Cambridge. I'm a 9th grader, and I'm 15 years old, and my favorite company is Chick-fil-A.
Okay,
that's a good one. Local
what's your
right in Georgia.
and you guys know Chick-fil-A is a private company, even though that's great.
You can't get stock in that
you
one.
can't get stock.
Oh, if you could have. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be killing it if you could get stock in Chick-fil-A. So what's your favorite class?
Biology, probably.
Okay. Did we get everyone? So we're gonna go ahead and ask Jane. Jane, if you can just give a quick introductory for yourself, you can introduce and then Gary, you can go after that right quick.
Sure. So I'm Jane Sylvester. I'm the mom of these 4 awesome boys. And I go to the University of Life because, that's just where we are right now. And my favorite food is spaghetti and meatballs. And I can't remember my favorite company. Gosh, I'd have to probably say maybe like Zappos.
Okay.
That's good.
Gary.
Yeah, so I'm Gary Zermelan. I'm with Sandler, so we're a sales training organization. That's what my love is. I love coaching people and helping people see success in sales in the business world. So I have a lot of fun doing that. Pretty much, I guess my favorite company is, I have to admit it, I like Chick-fil-A as well. I've been very impressed. There's a company that's getting over 10% increases since its inception. That's just incredible. And they pretty much walk the talk. What they say they do, and they do really care about their people and invest in them and grow them and develop them. So that's all kind of cool stuff. but I'm just excited about seeing, you guys, your faces in here. Just the fact that you're here and you're doing this makes you very unique. There's probably 0.0001% of the population your age that's even thinking about these things, that even said that, some of the things that you got from that video. That was incredible. Hey, I can do this too. Yeah, Nike, yeah, it could be a good stock. Yeah, I got to be able to kind of study that stuff myself. I can't just listen to just anyone's voice on the internet or on television. I got to do my own homework, my own research. That all came from you. I mean, that's like an article right there. That's pretty incredible. So I'm really excited to hear all those things. You guys are going to be amazing. Just keep doing it.
So, Gary, you didn't explain why you're here, though. So, what organization besides Sandler that you're part of and your
Yeah,
position?
yeah. YBU. It's exciting. This is one of the most exciting parts about it. I think this is going to be you're going to be the very beginning of something huge. Someday they're going to be talking about this all over the nation. I really do, and you're going to be saying, hey, we were one of the first ones that did it. So we're one of the first ones to reach $1 million. Very short period of time. So I do believe that, and so that's why I'm excited to see this because it's for everybody. It's for someone who has a lot of money or someone who has no money. Everyone can invest, and it's investing in you. And it's investing in your future. It's giving you options and control of your life to be able to do whatever you want, to buy businesses, to give to your favorite foundation or fundraising group. It just gives you all of those things when you have money, and it's not about necessarily being able to play music, like Led Zeppelin or whatever. I mean, you could be a football star like we see out there, like Matt Ryan. You don't have to be those people to make a lot of money.
So,
You
you
can do
guys,
it
so
by
Gary,
investing.
well, I really wanted Gary to say that Gary's actually on my board for Youth Branding University. And so he's actually also our spokesperson and also our public relations person. So I just wanted to make sure he got that in there. So going
Titles.
back,
I'm not into titles. I'm not into titles.
you need to know who you are, so why you're here. So that's really great. So really quick introduction, on my part, you guys. So I'm actually the founder of the organization. We've been in existence for 11 years now, so we're excited about that. My favorite food is chitlins. You guys probably never heard of that before. Um, uh, my favorite hobby is basketball, though I don't play it that much anymore. And then my favorite company is all the companies I can invest in. So I love them all because you can make money. So one of the things that we're going to be doing, you guys, is that your voice matters. So we're going to be asking some questions today. And so really want to get you guys engaged. We may not get each one of you on each question because, again, of time, but we want to let you know that your voice actually matters. So the first question, though, this is for everybody. Everybody. So I'm going to change this because, like I said, young people are going to a billionaire. But so I'm going to go around the table and ask you guys: do you want to be a millionaire, or do you want to be a billionaire, or do you want to be wealthy? So let me hear from you guys.
Yes.
So everybody's saying yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Who
right. So
wouldn't
that's
want to
good.
be?
So that's good to hear. So a lot of young people, when I ask that question, some say yes and some say no. So what would be? I want you guys to think about why do you want to be a millionaire? So let's go around and say, why do you want to be a millionaire? So
So I
let's.
can pay for what I want and what I need.
All right. So you can pay for what you want. I love that. Who's next?
Me. So if I had that much money, if I was a millionaire, I would probably go and like give money to charity and help people out.
All right. I love that. I love that.
Good stuff.
Great. Great. Who's next?
I would, if I were a millionaire, I'd help myself first and then help other people get in the situation I am.
All right. I love that.
Aiden?
I don't know. I guess I'd probably start a collection of video games.
Okay. Okay. So when I share with young people, the reason why I think you should want to be a millionaire, a billionaire, or wealthy is one, it could change your life, and you can invest in yourself. Number two, it can change your family life. Wouldn't it be nice if you guys could give your mom, some money, and then give your siblings some money? And then number three, and somebody said, invest back into the community or nonprofit. What a great way to do that, to invest into a nonprofit. Also could change your community. Just think about what Bill Gates is doing. He's spending a lot of his money to make a difference in the world. So when you look at a breakdown of who's a millionaire after they graduate from high school, so Asians are 6%, Caucasians is 5%, Latinos are 2%, and African Americans 1%. So you can see if you have the right mindset, there's a great opportunity, a great chance for you to become a millionaire. So one of the things that the founder of Stockpile, we're going to be talking about Stockpile a little later, he said that when you look at the S&P 500, which is the top 500 companies in the United States from a revenue standpoint, these are the best, they're making the most money. They say that on the average, you're going to earn about 10% annually if you invest in stock. So I want one person to tell me if they had a bank account, what is the interest rate on the bank account right now? What is the interest rate on the bank account? Saving.
Like on a savings account?
Yes.
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%. So you can see there's a great opportunity if you invest in a stock that over the long term, you're going to do better by investing in stock compared to saving, although you do need to save. So you do need to save. So another thing that we look at Stockpile, which is again another company that we're going to be looking at, they say 86% of American adults have never owned an individual stock. And then 80% of the stock is owned by the wealthiest 10%. So what you have is, when you think about this, is that when we say, why do the poor get poorer? And for the most part, the middle class stays the same, and the rich people get richer, or the wealthy people get richer. Some of that, one of the reasons, because of investing. Big part. So you guys talked about, I want to become a millionaire. So that was really great. And or why? So we showed the film so you can see we got different videos that we can share with you. Like we got this one young man to the left. He started off investing at 10 years old. You just saw Damon, 14 years old. You got these two ladies, they started at 13 years old. You got a teenager, and then you have this other one that actually started at 8. He started at 8 years old, and now he's a multimillionaire at 13. So again, you guys just shared your age, and you guys are right in the ball game of making that happen. So we're going to talk about some baby steps, just some standard things about baby steps for success. So take some notes. I'm going to be running pretty quickly, but these are some baby steps. Number one, pay all your monthly bills at least 5 months or 5 days in advance, and limit debt. Because what that's going to have, you're going to have a high credit score because of that. So that's number 15. Number 14, shop for bargains. So I was watching this one show where this lady went in and she bought $1,000 worth of groceries, but she had coupons. When she walked away, she only paid $100 because she shopped for bargains. Learn to recognize and distinguish your needs from your wants. So can somebody tell me what a want is? Just one person. Tell me what a want is.
$1,000 shoes.
Yeah, that's a
$1,000 shoes. All right.
Yeah.
So what is a need? Somebody tell me what a need is.
Water.
Water.
Yeah.
So we definitely need water. That's really great. Take advantage of number 12. Take advantage of financial literacy programs. Very, very important. And start as young as you can. Matter of fact, can anybody tell me, when you look at the wealthy people, at what age do they really start teaching their kids financial literacy? Can anybody tell me?
12.
12. Good number, but actually they start at 3 years old. They start teaching their kids. It's documented that they start at 3 years old. Become an entrepreneur. And that's one of the things we also teach in our class, entrepreneurship, really important. But your mom is an entrepreneur. So we need to give her a hand, you guys. Great job for mom. begin to plan and save for college. The earlier that you start, and we teach college planning too, the earlier that you start, the better off you're going to be financially. Give you a good example. Both my kids graduated from college with money in their pocket. Unheard of. Learn to budget your money instead of spending whatever you have, therefore using credit cards sparingly. So let me just share with you guys. When I graduated from from college and start working, can anybody tell me how many credit cards did I have in that first year?
5.
5. That's a good number. I like that number. I wish that was the case. I actually had 10. I was overloaded with debt. And so that's another reason why this class is so important to me. Don't do that. Build additional financial wealth by planning for retirement at an early age and become a millionaire. You guys, if you guys start investing now, if you guys go get a Roth IRA and all of that, you can retire early. You can retire at 40, 50 years old.
Yep.
Not be like one of my bosses that he had to work at age 70.
Yeah. If you start saving at 40, you're not going to be able to retire at 40.
Absolutely.
It's just not going to happen.
Invest at least 15% of all your monies that you receive, from family, friends, and your job. If you can do that, and you start it now, you're going to get into a habit. Habits are good.
You just don't even look at it. Just make it go right into savings. You don't even know you didn't have it. And whatever you make, put 10 to 15% away.
Absolutely. And then
you won't miss it. You won't miss it.
Yeah. And then you're going to have unexpected things come up, right? So you need to have another account just to think about that. Then naturally you're going to have emergencies. So you say, wow, that's 45% of saving. But there's some people that are actually doing that. Not the general population, but again, people complain or get upset and say, I can't retire. But then you get mad with the people that are able to retire because they saved. So saving is very important. Open up a personal savings account. So how many of you guys have let's go around the table right quick. How many of you guys have a bank account or savings account? All right. So we got Jordan.
They all do.
They all do. Okay, great. So you guys started off at the right point.
But there's not much in it.
That's okay.
That's all right.
It's all right as long as you started. Here's another big deal, you guys, is that you want to get a personal banker or a financial advisor or a coach like me. Just to give you advice. And that's what the wealthy people do. See, a lot of us, we're afraid to go get advice, but the wealthy people, they go get a ton of advice. Learn about banking, debt, credit, insurance, investments, living expenses, real estate, and other things that deal with financial literacy or financial empowerment. Then develop a strategy, a financial plan, which is number 1. Very, very important. Set your goals. So I'm going to be transparent with you guys. So I'm going to ask you guys, what I did was I went back and looked at when I first started working, and then 11 years ago when I stopped working, and basically I started my organization. So who can tell me at what age did I start working? One person.
22.
16.
16? Good number. Somebody said 42?
22.
Oh, 22. Okay, that's a good number too. So no, so 16, that's a good number. I actually started working. I don't think you can really do that unless you start your own business. I actually started working at 13 years old. So what's happened is
year, Jeffrey. I started when I was, I was 12.
12. Okay, all right. I started working with my dad really at 5, but really with a company was 13 years old. So I'm going to be transparent. So what I did was, you guys, I went back and looked at when I first started working at 13, all the way up until I stopped working, 11 years ago and started my organization, because this last 11 years I hadn't really gotten paid. So we're going to go around the table right quick, and I'm going to ask you guys this question. If I was to invest 10% of my salary, and part of that would be a 401k plan where the company was matching 3% of that, how much money, and I know you guys don't know how much of my salary was, so I just want you guys just think of a number. How much money do you think I would have today if I had invested at least 10%? So let's start with Blake.
Probably around $5,000 or $10,000.
$10,000. So that's pretty good. So after about 35, 40 years of working, about 5,000. So that's a good number. Okay, who's next?
Couple million.
Couple million. I like that number. That's good. Who's next?
I'd say around 1 million, from 800,000 to 1.2 million.
Okay, that's a good number. I like that. I like that. Who's next? Last one.
$100,000.
$100,000. So I'm going to ask you guys. You guys are going to actually see my salary, and the projections. So actually, I would be close to $3 million, you guys. And that's and again, I've not worked the last 11 years. So if you look at, if I worked at my last 11 years, and at the salary that I was making, I'll probably be at $6 to $7 million and not more. And that's what happens when you invest.
It's just putting away 10%.
Yes, 10%.
It's not 90. It's nothing. Just 10%. It'll change your whole life.
So, going to really quickly talk about Wall Street. So Wall Street, you guys know where Wall Street is, right? You know where it's at? It's in New York. It's about 8 blocks long. So that's where all this trading and all these things are going on is in New York.
World Trade Center, guys.
Yeah. And then the stock exchange is basically the different companies that allow you to invest in stock. So there's about 5 or 6 different stock exchanges. My favorite is the S&P 500, which is your top 500 companies. Stock is also called capital stock. So you may hear some people say stock. You may hear some people say capital stock. And basically what they're saying is when you buy stock, check this out, you guys. You own part of the company. And you get some say-so. So sometimes what they'll do at the end of the year, they'll send you a proxy. And on that proxy, they'll ask you a couple questions and get your feedback on what you think the future direction of the company is. You got power. The more shares that you have, the more power that you have. And if you get 51% of the company, you actually own the company.
Impress your friends, Jordan. Say, yeah, I own part of Tesla.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to have a Tesla someday. I already own part of the company. Yeah.
So wouldn't this be cool, you guys? You know, you get some stock, you get some Walmart stock. You walk into Walmart and you're at the checkout counter, and the lady asks you, how you doing today? And you say, I'm doing well. And said, you know what? I'm doing so well because I own part of your company. Wouldn't that be cool? That'd be pretty cool. So let me say this, is that a shareholder, so if you own stock, you're either considered a shareholder or a stockholder. So that means that you actually legally own part of that company, a portion of it. Custodial account. So one of the things is that when we get ready to set up your custodial account, and we're going to actually invest in you because of board members like Gary, who's made a donation, we're going to get you guys 5 shares of stock that you're going to, fractional stock that you're going to be able to buy. Or I'm going to send it to you, and then you're going to be able to get. So we want to thank Gary for all of his help, and the rest of our board members and our other sponsors. So because you're under 18, legally you don't have complete control of your account. So your mother has to be a part of that, and so she'll have some control. But legally, it's your account. So when you turn 18 or 21 or 25, then it's yours, depending on how you set it up and what company that you're with. So remember that custodial account, because when we get ready to set your account up, we're going to have to set that up. There's 2 types of custodial accounts. One is the UJMA, and the other one is UTMA. And basically the difference is in the ages. Okay? So with the UGMA, normally it's 18 to 21 that you set the requirements on when you legally become controller of that account. And you set that up normally at the beginning. And then the other one is 25. Okay? So some of the things when you open up a custodial account, and when we get ready to do that, I don't want to know any of this, most of this information. It's between you and your mom. So I know your name.
And
No,
don't
it may be
ever give
okay.
anybody your social security number or
Right.
name. I don't care who they are. Do not do that. Only do that to your mom.
Yep. And so when we get ready to go online and set everything up, there's going to be a portion where I say blank the screen, or stop sharing the screen because I do not want to see that information. Okay. So it's between you and your mom, and whoever she feels comfortable with. And even sometimes you guys in the era of social media, I would even be careful with who you give your birthday and your address to.
Right.
And sometimes even your name, depending. Although we live in this era of social media, people, I don't know how people find out my birthday, and so people wish me my birthday, and I don't really use social media. Depending on what account we use, they may ask for other different information. So they may ask for your driver license number if you drive. They may ask for your debit information. So again, it just depends on what account. But again, if it's personal information, like Gary just said, I do not want to see it. Okay. And again, some additional information that, when we get ready to set up, they're going to ask for your bank account name, and also they may ask for the address, and then ask for your account information. Because what they're going to do, they're going to connect you, and then so when you get ready, to invest, they'll take it right out of your account. Okay. The other thing is that they're verifying because it's a part of the government, and the government must make sure that people are not scamming each other and that they are legitimate people. And they're not, tied up into doing some crazy stuff. So they're going to go out and validate certain information. So let me ask you guys this question. Think about male, female, African American, Latino, and Asian. So I think we covered everybody in Caucasian. So think about those categories as far as top investors. So you can select whoever you want to, but I want somebody to give me a name or who you think is a top investor. So let's go around the table. Who's a top investor that you know from either reading the paper, internet, or whatever, or hearing about them? So who's the top investor? So let's start with Jordan.
Oh, I forgot his name, but I was just watching Shark Tank, and there's one of those guys up there that he was from Asia, and he immigrated all the way to America and started his own business. I think it's called Next Door.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. That's good, and I like that you and I need to hang out sometime through Zoom and watch Shark Tank because I love watching Shark Tank. So I'm big on that. Aiden.
Yes.
Who's your top investor?
I don't know. I don't really have one.
Okay, you don't. Do you know one?
I know it's got a guy in Shark Tank named Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful. All right. Love Mr. Wonderful. Okay. Who's next?
There's Damon.
Damon. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. You guys naming all the Shark Tank people. Sorry. Say that again.
And there's this guy that owns you could say half of the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know his name. I forgot his name.
Oh yeah, you talking about Mark Cuban? Yeah, great guy. Yep, great guy. So here's the top investors that you guys write these down. These are some very, very important people. Let me stop for a second. Jane, give me who yours is.
Oh,
putting you on the spot.
Jeff Bezos.
Okay, Jeff Bezos. Okay, all right, Gary.
Yeah, it dates me, but Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that guy just made a science out of valuing businesses, and it's amazing.
Warren Buffett. That's right.
So I'm going to give you guys the top investors. You guys, great responses. All those people are great. So the first one is my favorite. This is my number one, Warren Buffett. So Warren Buffett, you can kind of call him so make sure you write his name down. He is the grandfather of investing. He is worth $102 billion.
Think how many Nikes he could get for that.
Yep. He started investing at 11 years old, you guys. 11 years old.
Wow.
He lives in Omaha, and he still has the same house that he purchased 50 years ago. You kind of, people don't talk about this anymore, but he's kind of like a miser. So write down miser, M-I-S-E-R, miser.
Yeah, the only thing that he ever kind of spent money on was a personal jet. That one he did. He wouldn't give up the jet either.
Yep. So here's another important. So this is a female, Victoria Chaplin Woodhall. Write her name down. So she was the first person that was a stockbroker on the Wall Street in 1870. So when her and her sister came together in 6 weeks, they came up with $700,000 in investments. And if you fast forward today, that'd be worth about $13 million.
Wow.
Very cool lady. Then you have Jeremiah G. Hamilton. He was in Wall Street in the 1870s and had a fortune of $2 million. Today, that would be worth about $250 million.
Wow.
Then you have, I love this guy, Carlos Hilo. He actually owned 40% of the Mexican Stock Exchange.
Whoa.
And also back in 2010 to 2013, he was the richest person in the world.
How much do you think he's worth, Jeffrey?
I don't know. He's not the top now, but he, he's in the, he got to be close to 100 million. I mean 100 billion.
Yeah, probably.
And then you have Afra Lynn, and then Jane, you was talking about his company earlier. So he's though worth in the millions. So some key people that you need to know about, and there's tons of people, you guys, that are in that category. So we talked about, but let's go back around the table because I want to make sure I got this. So I want to know two things. One, I want to know what's your favorite company again, and then what company do you like doing business with? So there's two different questions, because one is what company do you like, but then what company do you like doing business with? What's your favorite company? Like, do you like, where do you shop at? Where do you shop at? So that would kind of like be your favorite business. Where do you shop at? And the other one, you may not shop there, but it may be your favorite business.
It could be online too. It could be online.
Absolutely. Good feedback, Gary, on that. So I'm actually going to start with Gary. Give you guys a little chance to think about it, and then we're going to go to Jane, and then we're going to get to you guys. Because I know Gary already knows, because we got to keep on moving fast. So Gary, what company do you like, not to say that you do business with, and then what company do you like that you do business with?
I tell you, I've had good experience with Amazon. It comes quick. They make it easy to buy. They have very good prices. So I didn't want to. I was one of those people, I'm never going to buy online, and Amazon turned me around a little bit on that.
And then what company that you like, but necessarily that you don't do business with?
Let's see. What would be another one that I like? Let me think about that for a minute.
Why do you think we're going to move on to Jane? Because I got to keep this rolling.
Okay, move on to Jane. Let me think on that one for a bit.
Yeah. So I love the department store Von Maur, because I love classic. I don't even know if it's public or not.
Okay.
But I love their service and the attention you get and all that. So that's the company I like to do business with. I guess I really like Starbucks too, because I love how the benefits they provide, and so much opportunity for employment, and the benefits they provide their employees, even working part-time. So.
Okay, great. So let's start with Blake, and then we'll keep on going around the table. So what company that you like that necessarily that you don't do business with, and then what company do you like that you do business with?
I really like Amazon. Like Gary said, I like Amazon a lot. I like those shopping companies. I like Target.
All right, Target. Give it up for Target. Give it up for Target. I love Target because it's from Minnesota. That's originally where I'm from. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Blake, but I get excited when people say Target, but keep on going.
And I'm not sure what I do business with, I don't know. I'm not really sure about that one. I don't know.
Okay.
Target.
Yeah, but I'm at to do something special for you since you like Target. Who? Aiden, go ahead.
Oh, I like Chick-fil-A. I like also like Target.
Okay, man, you guys rolling with the Target. Who's next?
My favorite company is probably no, Lamborghini, just because of the car, probably, or just Mercedes, like any car.
Okay, and so what company do you like doing business with?
Probably Microsoft, I guess.
Microsoft, all right. My
Just
wife
like
works for
Xbox.
Microsoft. Yeah, she works for Microsoft, so great. Okay, last person,
Jordan.
Jordan. So I can't see you
Favorite
guys'
company?
names, so I'm trying to keep track.
My favorite company would be Tesla because they're helping the environment and also making a big product out of electric cars and stuff like that. And I'd like to do business with Apple because they're making new products every year that are just groundbreaking for technology, you know?
Okay, so Jordan, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Let's talk
I
about
think he can
Tesla.
handle
So,
it. I
yeah, you
think
can
he can
handle it.
handle it.
You can handle
Yeah,
it. You can handle it. So
I can
Tesla.
handle it.
So why well, not necessarily the question why people are so excited about Tesla, but what just happened with Tesla as far as that really was in the best interest of their investors? What happened? Do you know? No. So Tesla just made a deal with a car rental company, and so that car rental company bought tons of Tesla's cars, and so their stock went way up. So one of the things when you're investing in looking at investing in stock, you want to see what's kind of going on with the company, and if you got something's getting ready to come that's going to really increase that stock, you want to buy as quick as you can. And then also Tesla was actually at one time was in bad shape financially, and they turned it around. Now they're one of the most profitable companies out there in the auto industry. So let's talk about stock. Let's talk about stock. Okay. So one of the things is, I was talking to like Gary and some other board members, some of our advisors, and we started this program. And again, we're going to invest in you guys. We're going to get you 5 shares of fractional stock. Which is going to be really cool. And we're going to try to see if we can get you guys to select them. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's take a pause before I continue on, because this is going to be really critical at the end, and I want to make sure we don't miss this. So we're going to take a minute. I need you guys, right, because we're going to talk about 5 different shares of stock or 5 different companies. I need you guys to, and they need to be big companies because we're talking about the S&P. So list 5 companies that you think that you like to buy stock with. So 5 companies. And if you want to go 6 or 7, that's fine too. So 5 companies. So I'm going to pause for a minute and let you guys think about that. I give you guys about 30 seconds. So 5 companies, maybe 6 or 7. And we're going to see if we can get those stocks for you guys. And if anybody's done, go ahead and share. As soon as you finish, go ahead and share.
All right. So one of them. So for me, it's Google, Apple, Target, Nike, and Zoom.
We have to check on Zoom, but I know we can get those other 4. Zoom, I don't know. So you may want to think of another one, but definitely you can get those 4. Great, great. Anybody else finish?
Yeah, I would say Amazon, Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, Walmart, or in this company, Alibaba. So when I was at private school, we invested in them and we came third place just on their money.
All right.
Insane.
So I think we can get all of those. So you're right. And Alibaba, where's they located?
China, I think, somewhere in Asia.
Yep, absolutely. You're on it, man. You're doing a great job. I'm so proud of you. All you guys are doing really great. I'm really proud of each one of you guys. Anybody else done?
Starbucks, Target, Google, Microsoft, ExxonMobil.
Okay. I think we can get all of those. Last person.
All right, mine are Amazon, Microsoft, Nintendo, Target, and Google.
What was that last one?
Google.
Okay, I think we get most of those. So we'll find out in a minute when we go online.
Can you get Abbott?
Say that again.
Can you get Abbott?
I don't know. We'll find out soon. We go online. I can't remember. So one thing I'm going to share with you guys, we use different platforms, Berkeley forms, depending on where we're going as far as the direction of the youth. And so some people got really aggressive goals and they want to invest in other things. And some people, I just want to stick with stock. So it all depends. But we'll find out very shortly. So one of the things is talk is cheap, you guys. So one of the things I want to share with you guys that I actually started investing for my kids when they were like 2 years old. So my oldest daughter graduated from Georgia Tech a few years ago. And so this is actually, she owns Nike. And basically, Nike's running about $162 right now. And she actually has, that I've gotten, is 8 shares of stock. So just calculate just this year, that's not including looking at previous years. It's unbelievable. But just looking at this year, if it's $162 and she had 8 shares of stock, how much money is that? Can anybody tell me?
From when she was 2 years old, and
No, I'm just saying, just over. If you just look at just this year, if you took 162 times 8, what would that be?
Over 1,200. Right?
There you go. So again, you can see the importance of investing in stock. It's down a little bit right now, but it also has been up.
Is that your daughter?
That's my daughter. Yep, that's my daughter. That's my oldest one. That went to Georgia Tech.
That's awesome.
And so they have Nike, they have Apple, and then also we went into mutual funds. But these are the two main ones that I have. And I got some other ones like Walt Disney and so forth, but these are the two main ones. This is my youngest daughter. They got the same stock, but she played at UGA basketball. She just graduated last year.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So those are my daughters. So
awesome.
We're going to be running fast. So really, really fast. I may not even pronounce some of the names, but you guys pretty nailed down the 5 stock that you like. But if you see another company that's on the list, write it down. Okay? These are the ones that teenagers say they love. Okay? Let's go. So we're going to look at penny stock first. So for penny stock, they're looking at this particular company. Okay? Which is tied into the medical field. This is another company that they're looking at again that's tied in that area. Another company, again, technology. Technology, so you're going to see a lot of technology. Here's science. Science again. So you can see a lot of science, a lot of medical, especially right now with everything that's going on in the world. Another company that's dealing with medical. So this is called Creative Medical Technology Holding Companies. So these are some of the things that teenagers are investing in. No. Just to give you guys some idea. Therapeutic company. The value stock, is really, really important. It's not as risky, but something for you guys to consider. So you guys heard of American Airlines, right? And then Bank of America. So Warren Buffett is a major stockholder for Bank of America. Big time. Who likes to do a cruise? Anybody like to cruise? So you can see cruise airlines. You got Delta. Another cruise line. You got another airline company. My favorite one. Banks, you got Wells Fargo. Um, so here's growth stock. For you guys being young, you want to consider growth stock a little bit more risky, but it can make you a lot of money. Technology company, AT&T. My wife used to have worked for them for like over 40 years. Then she just went over to Microsoft. Microsoft. Here's another company again to consider. Exxon dealing with the oil. One of the things is we're not going to get deep into it, but some young people look at, do I want to invest in green stock or environmental, um, um, and also energy and governance, which basically saying social stock. So some people may not want to invest into Exxon because they pollute a little bit with our water and maybe in the air. But then some people said, you know what, I don't care about that. I'm in it for the money. So again, are you going to be somebody that's I'm looking at social stock and be conscious of, or just say, hey, I'm going to look at the money? And again, it's an individual thing. Another company, Intel, that you guys heard of. Another company,
Apple.
yep. Uber, big time and continues to grow. Tesla, somebody's talking about Tesla, number 15. Gaming, if anybody's into gaming, so you'll be able to buy some gaming.
Cool logo there.
Yep.
It is. Yeah.
So blue chip, so you guys want to write down blue chip. Blue chip is your company that's been around for a long time, and you can say that they're pretty stable. You may lose a little money every now and then, but basically you can count on them. So let's look at the blue chip companies. So number 11, Coca-Cola. Anybody like Coke? Everybody Coke or the Pepsi? Okay, Coke. You got Apple. Did you guys know that Google's not Google anymore? That they're actually Alphabet. And Google's into everything, you guys. It's unbelievable. Amazon. Johnson & Johnson. Everybody knows about Johnson & Johnson right now. They're a big name because of the coronavirus. COVID. I would be careful with Netflix or any streaming company. The streaming companies are right now is very competitive. You may want to go that route, but just take into consideration that is very, very competitive. People are getting in, people are getting out. PayPal, which people use to make payments to other people. The index mutual fund. So index mutual fund is going to be a collage of companies together. And so this is the number one. And so if you got that particular index fund, you will have all these different companies. Okay. So we're not going to get into the 50 top stocks that billionaires love. There's some similarities between what young people like, but there's some differences. But if we had more time, I would go deep into that. But right now, let's focus on having fun and getting stock that young people like. And then later down the line, we'll talk about what are the billionaires doing. Also, we talked about the S&G, which is environmental, social, and governance stock. And again, that's more like, hey, I'm more conscious of the environment. We're not going to talk about those. We'll get those at a later date. The 15 best stocks that Warren Buffett likes, again, I said he's a guru, but I'm going to bypass that because of the sake of time. But normally we would look at what does Warren Buffett do. Matter of fact, I would say that if you really want to be a good investor, kind of follow Warren Buffett because he gets all types of advisors before he buys the stock. So if he's getting advisors and then he's making decisions and you don't have advisors, then you may want to consider following what Warren Buffett is doing or other people like Warren Buffett. He's big into Coca-Cola also, a major stockholder in Coca-Cola. So fractional stocks, you guys. So we're going to really talk about fractional stock now. So fractional stock, what we're going to begin, you guys, is fractional stock. So you're not going to have a full share, but give you a good example. I just opened up an account last week for fractional stock. Now again, I picked the right ones, and right now, within less than a week, my ROI, which is return on investment, is at 36%. Pretty cool. So what is fractional stock like? Like basically what it is just a portion of a full share stock. So depending on what the dollar amount is, it's going to depend on how much that fraction or what that percent is. So here are the fractional stock companies. So Robinhood. So one of my young people actually they're on that platform. So we're using Robinhood. So far, we're not using it. What you're going to see is that some companies there's no fees involved, and there's some companies that there's fees involved. We're staying away from right now the companies that have fees. We're focusing more on the companies that have no fees. Fidelity, we got a couple young people that's using Fidelity. Really, really cool. Charles Schwab, we have a couple young people that's using Charles Schwab. Acorn, we're not using. Again, they're actually there's a charge involved. Public is another company. Wilbur, M1 Finance, Greenlight, and you may see some commercials on Greenlight because they have the credit card also or the debit card for young people. Stash is another company. Betterment, Interactive Brokers, and these are all platforms that young people can get on. Stockpile, so that's the company that we're going to be using. And the reason why I like Stockpile is because I can actually send you guys a gift card, and then I can name the company, but then you guys can change it if you want to. The other companies are a little bit more complicated. What I would have to do is I would have to take it out of my bank account, put it in your mom's bank account, then she would have to take that money, then put it in the brokerage firm, and we don't want to do that. So right now, our whole focus is on Stockpile because I can automatically send that to you through our company because of people like Gary. So we're going to be looking at their website in just a minute. So before we go to this, which is investors.com, I want you guys to get out of this presentation. I want you guys to think about, is there any questions that you want me to answer before we look at investors.gov, and then we're going to be going to Stockpile. Okay?
Well, I have a question for them. And you went through like penny stocks, value stocks, growth stocks, green, blue chip, and indexes. What do you recommend? I know we're going to do fractional stock, but as far as the types of companies, is there a recommendation? Is it a balance of all of them eventually? Like, what's the mindset? That's sort of where they should be thinking.
My thing right now, let's have fun. So that's the biggest thing. Let's have fun. So let's get stock that you do business with or that you like. So the stocks that you guys named will be really good companies, and I feel really comfortable with the ones that you named. Now, when we get into some serious investing, and if you decide not only fractional but also buy whole stock, then what you want to do is you want to start doing your research. But the ones that you guys picked is pretty safe, and you want to look at growth stocks. So the basic thing is, because of your age, you want to look at growth stocks. So write that down. So I look at all the different categories. You guys really want to look at growth stock, but also you want to have balance. So we'll be talking about it at a later date, or I'll send it to you about having balance, because you may want to have a little bit, some safety valve, as far as protecting yourself. Okay?
Okay.
Good question. Anyone else have any questions? So I want to go ahead and do this calculator. So this is the investing calculator. So I have one young person that we started back in January. He started with, we gave him $25 because of people like Gary and on my board and other people. And So we started with 25. His parents matched our 25. So he had $50 that he was going to invest. Then his parents decided to invest $50, so he had $100. And then he came back and invested $50. So we started off initially with $150. And we started back in January. So he works a little bit on the weekends, so he's been doing a little investing. So I'm going to ask you guys, we're going to go around the table again. And he's 16 years old. He started off at 15. Today, how much stock do you think he has, or what the value of his stock is? So let's start with Jordan. So Jordan, how much money do you think he has now?
$100.
Good number. I like that. Aiden,
Yes.
how much money do you think he has in his account now?
Maybe like $1 million.
That's good. I guess he would like that, but he started off with 150, and he's been putting a little money in there. So that may be a little bit too high. Can you think of another number?
750.
750. So that's a good number. Who's next?
Probably one grand, 1K.
$1,000. So that's a good number. So actually, guys, right now, I just talked to him yesterday. He has about $4,500. So let's do this. So we're gonna say that his initial investment is at $4,500. Okay. And we're not gonna look at him continue to contribute. We're gonna say, hey, $4,500, and he stopped investing, but he kept his money in his investment account. And he's gonna look at, I want to retire, and so he's 16, and we're gonna say he's gonna retire at 67. So so when you look at how many years is that, if we're talking about he's gonna be 67 when he's gonna retire, he's 16 right now. How many years is he gonna invest? 50. Great answer. Great answer. I love that. So 50. So we're going to use, what was the average interest rate we talked about earlier in the presentation? So what's the average interest rate over the long term of the stock market? Can anybody remember? What was that, Jordan?
There you go, Carter. Good job.
Like less than 1 in a bank account.
But no, for when you're investing, so not for banking, but for stock.
Oh, like
Carter said 10%.
10%. Okay, yep. So that's right. So yeah, 10%. Sorry, I didn't hear that, Carter. So 10%. We're gonna use 12% because you can be a little bit more aggressive because you're a lot younger. So let's put 12% in there. We're not gonna look at a variance. The interest is gonna compound annually. So at 50 years, he invested $4,600 or $4,500. How much money do you think he's gonna have in 50 years? He's not gonna put any more money in. That's it. Let's go around the table.
685.
So you got 4,500 now. So it gotta be over 4,500.
55,000.
55,000. Okay, that's a good number. So Jordan, come back. So Jordan, give me your number, Jordan.
Say 55,000 by the end.
55,000. Okay, and then Blake, what are you thinking, Blake?
Probably 70,000. No, I meant
Okay.
700. No, 7,000. Sorry.
Okay. Who's next? Okay, go ahead.
60K.
60K. That's a good. Oh man, you're using the K. I love it. And then who's next?
Carter, what'd you say?
658,000.
Okay, good number. Jane, what are you coming up with?
I'm not guessing.
You gotta guess, Jane. You gotta guess.
All right, I'm gonna say 450,000.
Okay, Gary.
200,000.
20,000. So this is going to calculate. So write down the rule of 72. You guys write down the rule of 72. So rule of 72, you can do this manually. And what it tells you how fast your money is going to double based upon the interest rate. We're not going to do that calculation because of time, but write down the rule of 72 and you guys can look that up, okay? But we're going to automatically calculate it. So let's look at what it's going to be. You guys see that number?
Whoa.
$1,300,000. I mean, 300,000. Now, I asked him, because he's an investor, I said, no, I know that, a few years from now, you may be going to college. A few years after that, you may get married. But again, it's all in the planning. So I have what they call the 10 P's, you guys, the 10 P's. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want you guys to write these ones that I want to talk about. One is whether it be life preparation, just life in general, or whether investing stock or other investment vehicles. All of this really comes down to priority. What is your priority? What is your priority? So write down priority. Number
is this
two.
on your screen, or is this on this slide deck?
No, this I'm just sharing, and I'm only going to give a couple of them.
Okay.
So priority number two is that not only young people, and probably more so adults, they do this. And the difference when you guys are getting started compared to some people not getting started is procrastination. If you procrastinate, you're going to lose out on the opportunity for your money to double and to make more money. Let me say this, write this down. Time is money. Time is money, you guys. Time is money. Number three, so we talked about having a priority. We talked about being concerned about procrastination. Number three is planning. You got to plan. Very, very critical. So when you set your priorities, don't look at what are you planning for? Are you going to plan for 50 years of investing? Don't procrastinate. Do it now. The other thing is, write this down, is people. People. And that's really networking. Your mom is a great networker. You want to connect with people, especially if you're going to invest in the investment field. Network. Get to know people. Okay? So that's just a nugget. So one of the things I asked him the question, I said, well, how much money do you think you can invest per month if you would continue to do it? So he said he could do $500 a month.
Wow.
That's aggressive, but he's a serious investor. So now if we was to do a recalculation, how much money do you think he would have now? So we talked about he would be at 1.3 million. So what do you think that amount would be now if he continued to invest 500?
15 million.
15 million. That was Carter. Okay, Carter. All right, 15 million. Who's next?
10 million.
10 million. Wow. Okay, that's Jordan. Okay, come on now. Who's next? Somebody give me a number.
That's gonna keep growing.
Aiden?
7.
10 million? And who did we miss? Yeah. I can't see all the names.
12 mil. 12, 15 mil.
12, 15 mil, okay. And then Jane and Gary.
I don't know, 5 mil.
5 mil, Gary, Jane?
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5 million.
Okay, let's do the calculator.
Oh my gosh. Just by adding 500 a month?
Yep.
Wow.
So one of the cool things, you guys, so you go to, depending on how you forecast or project, this gives you a graph so that you can look at how fast your money is going to grow. So I'm going to be working with your mom to work on what is your goal, and then once we get those numbers, I'm going to have put together a frame, a certificate that you guys can actually frame, so you guys can constantly look at that. We're not going to be able to do that today, but I just wanted to let you know that eventually you guys will get that. Okay? So let's do this. Let's get ready to go into stockpile, which is where really the rubber meets the road. This is the company that we're going to start off with, and I'm going to show you some key things that you're going to be able to do really simple. So let me bring up stockpile, and then we come to a close. Can we go by another 10 to 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Are we good? Are you guys
Yeah.
good? Okay.
You're good, boys, right?
You guys good? Okay. I just want to make sure because this is where the money's at. This is where the money's at. So stockpile is really, really cool. So basically what we're gonna have to do is you have to work with your mom, and also we're gonna have to meet up again because we're probably not gonna be able to do it tonight because I actually want to see it and walk through it with you guys. So you do a sign up, but the cool thing is um, they got a support, they got a beginner's guide, so you can get education in addition to what you're learning today. So you can learn about they give you an induction, they got different principles, and they got just simple things, not long, you know, but it just gives you the basic information. And then you can also do additional stock. So really, really cool. So you got the educational portion of this. The other portion, let me go back. The other thing is you can redeem a gift card. So that's what I'll be sending you guys
That's
is a
awesome.
gift card. And so you put, you'll get an email from me, or not from me. I'll send an email to Stockpile. Stockpile will send an email to whoever email address that we set up. And then you have a gift card, and you can key in the information to actually redeem that. Okay? Really, really cool. And you can either, and I can either send it to you. So here's the other cool thing I like about it. I can send it to you by email. I can send it to you by text, or I can send it to you in the mail with an actually plastic card. And so this is the mechanism to actually buy the stock. So when you buy it, I'm going to show you that in a minute. So, so you have over 300,000 gift cards that we can attain. So you got a lot of flexibility there. You can actually do it on your computer, or you can do it by your app. Okay, and also one of the questions that one of my adults that's in the program asked me the question was, well, can I lose money? Sure you can. You're in the stock market. But if you open a savings account, especially right now, you're losing money anyway because of inflation.
Yeah, right.
So so you could lose money, but so the other question asked, well, what if somebody, the CEO or somebody runs off with the money, or the company folds? What happens? Were you protected up to $500,000? And all this is in the document, so you're protected if somebody runs away with the money or closes the company.
Got it.
Okay, so then they have frequently asked questions, so you can see the different questions again that you can look at to learn more about doing this. So here's the other cool thing: buying a gift card, getting a gift card. So we're gonna look at what are the categories that you can look at as far as getting gift cards, and you can do any amounts. So we're gonna see that in a minute. So we're gonna go. Let me move this over here so I can see everything. So one of the things that you can invest, like I said, stock can run. Companies have different stock prices, so you can make a 25, 50, 100, 200, or you can do all the way to $1 by putting $1 in there, all the way to 500. Then again, I said, like you said, you can send it by email, text, or you can print out the gift card. What I would do if I'm going to send that to you, I'll put your name, whoever, it would probably be your mom's email address, my name, and I'll give you a little message, and I can decide when I want to send it, which will probably be right away. Then you're going to get an email saying, hey, Jeffrey Henderson of Youth Brandon University just sent you stock. And
Maybe
then you're
that's
going to
what our
redeem it.
allowance. Yeah.
Huh?
Maybe their allowance could be in the form of stockpile gift
Yep,
cards.
absolutely. And you can send this to yourself. Your mom can invest. I'm going to show you some other cool
Your
things that.
grandparents can invest in you.
Yep,
It could be, anyone really. It could be another business in your community may want to invest in you. You don't know.
absolutely. Great, great, Gary. So here's the deal, you guys. So you guys asked about, or Jade asked about, the companies. So they broke them up. They broke it out in categories. Let me do this. So they broke it out in categories. So first they got trending. So companies that are trending. So you can see the companies, and I'm not going to name all of them, but you can see the companies that are trending. So you can select. So if you wanted the stock, you would click on that, and I can send that to you. So I actually, one of the reasons why I'm doing really, really well is because I got the Vanguard Total Stock Market. So that's about 1,200 companies, and your top companies are in that 1,200. So that's the index kind of stock. But you can see that they have Ford Motors Company, they have Alphabet, they have Apple, Amazon, Walt Disney. Then they have the most active. So these are the most active stock. So you guys, you can see those. So you saw Intel was something that young people look at. Okay. Then they had top gainers. So what are the top gainers that's really making some money? So they're telling you that, and they've done some of the research for you. You may want to do additional research. They even have the top losers. So before you begin to buy anything, or before I get ready to buy you something or somebody else, I would look at this category and say, these are the companies that you probably want to stay away from. Maybe, maybe not. You just want to do your research.
Yeah.
Then you have your tech. So anybody that's into tech, you can see all the different tech companies. And all you got to do is just click on the button, then it takes you to that one menu of where you can determine what amount you're going to buy. Okay? Then you have cars and travel. You get a breakdown there. So if you're thinking about a company and you don't want to go through all of this, you also can look at, you can do, put up here, put the name of the company or the brand or the symbol. So you don't have to go through all of these. You can, there's different ways to get there. Sports and recreation. So you can see the companies that are there. Then you have fashion. Anybody's into fashion? No, you got your fashion companies. Then you got your gaming. I know you guys, who's into gaming? Who's into gaming?
All of them.
All right, all of them. Okay, so if you want to get gaming, so excuse me. Yesterday, two of my friends. One is the president of the NFL Alumni Association for Georgia. Also, is a retired running back for the Seattle Seahawks. He joined yesterday, got on the platform, and he got the Madden. He got the gaming for Madden. And then another friend of mine who was a part of the NFL, Stephon Adams, he played for now the Los Angeles, the Las Vegas Raiders. But he actually played for the Oakland Raiders. He's on this platform, and they both got on yesterday.
Awesome.
You can do EFTs, which is a combination of different types of commodity stocks and everything. So I actually got, let's see, which one did I get? Oh, so I really wanted to get involved with some gold, silver, platinum, and so forth. So I got this one. So you can say, hey, I own gold and silver.
I do want to do one of those.
No. Then they got kids. So they kind of broke it. What some of the young people like? So they got all of those down. You can see Alphabet is there. Dairy Queen is one of my favorite places, which is owned by Warren Buffett. Dairy Queen is owned by Warren Buffett.
Is it really?
Yep. Entertainment, if you're into entertainment. Okay. They got food and drinks. So you can see the food and drinks companies that are on there. You saw Coca-Cola. Cornflakes. I don't know if you guys eat cornflakes or not. I know back in the day when I was growing up, cornflakes was big. Restaurants. So you can see the restaurants that they have, McDonald's. Luxury. So these are your high price items. So you can see those like Land Rover. Then they got hobbies. If you want to look at hobbies. They got money. That's my favorite category, the money companies. Like I used to work for Assurance Solutions, so I got some of this stock. I bank with Bank of America, so I got Bank of America. I'm following the same strategy that you got. I looked at companies I'm doing business with or companies that I work with. Shopping is another category. Then if you want to get into crypto.
Oh,
So you can get a little bit of that. Okay. So what happened is that again, when we sign up, we'll have to fill out like a application online. Once we nail down the stock that you guys want to get, then I'm going to do this. So that's going to be my end to do that, and then get you guys set up, and then you're going to pull that into, and then you guys can begin to watch. So I'm going to actually open up my account right quick, so that you guys can see what the inside looks like, the back end, and then we come to a close. And I appreciate guys your patience. So you can see, I invested $50. Right now, and that was just last week, I'm at $76.66.
He made money while he was sleeping.
And then it tells you
how money while you sleep.
Yep. Absolutely.
Better than working at Burger
Good
King, right?
feedback, Gary.
Do it while you're sleeping.
Yeah. So this is keeping track of all your money. Then also you can invite a friend. You can look at your stock, so you can look at my stock. Where's my stock at? Oh, here it comes. It's just a little slow. So you can see all the stock that I got, that I have.
Awesome.
Then you got the gift cards, which we already went through. Then you can transfer cash. You can do the redeem the gift card documents. So those are all the legal documents if you want to go back. You can do your settings, so if you need to change something. And this was really powerful, your wish list. And you can actually put your wish list together and then send an email to everybody telling them what your wish list is. So good for birthdays and Christmas and other days. And then you can buy stock internally and also send a gift card. So that's what it looks like internally. I'm going to log out. And I'm going to see.
Excited.
So what you guys think? So let's go around the table and let's talk about, as we get ready to close, one, you guys want to do this. You guys actually want us to send you some gift cards, 5 shares of companies that you may like, or I may like, but you can change, or your mom may like. So let's get started. So Jordan, what do you think? Did you know about? You want us to send you some stock?
Yeah, I think I'm going to use your tip about invest 15% of the money you earn, save 15%, and then save another 15% for emergency fund. I think I'm going to start doing that.
All right, I love it, man. I love you for that. Carter. So do you want us to, do you want us to invest like Gary's helping us out? Do you want us to invest some stock into you?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, just check it. Blake.
Yes, I think this was very useful, and yes, I like some stocks.
Okay, all right. Aiden.
Sure. Process is interesting.
Okay. Jay, we may invest a little bit in you. We may not invest as much, but we may even get you and Gary. So you guys know what it looks like. So I may get you guys. Matter of fact, I am. So I need. So Gary, you can go ahead and set up. Go ahead and I'll send you the link, and we'll get you some so you can see what it feels like to actually.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great platform. I mean, that's just fantastic, and this makes it fun.
Yeah.
And they do some of the research for you, which is great.
Yeah. And if you click on, once you get the stock, you'll be able to click on the icon and it'll tell you what the stock is valued at. It'll give you some history and graphs and all that, so you'll have all that information too. So let's do this again, trying to wrap up. So I need you guys to give me 3 things of everything that I shared today. Give me 3 things that you learned. 3 new things that you learned. Really, really important, because we want to make sure you got something out of this. So what are 3 things that you learned? As soon as you are ready, let's go ahead and get started. And that goes for Gary and Jane also. 3 things that you learned. And if you already know, go ahead and get started. So I'm trying to wrap on up.
5 of the 10
I know I learned one
Ps.
thing. I think I'm looking at our next group of millionaires, maybe billionaires here in 50 years. They're going to have millions. That's what I think.
Okay, so Carter, I think Carter was getting ready to go. Go ahead, Carter.
5 of the 10 P's: priority, procrastinate, planning, people. No, 4 of the 5 P's. I learned to shop for bargains and pay for all monthly bills 5 days before.
All right, great job. Who's next?
All right. I learned that a blue chip refers to a company that's been around for a long time, and I learned about the first female on Wall Street, Victoria Claflin Woodhull, and I learned about some of the baby steps like shop for bargains and learn to recognize wants and distinguish them from needs, and also begin to plan and save for college and become an entrepreneur, and also learn where to stock that a stock is all the shares into which ownership of the corporation is divided.
All right. Who's next? Who's next? Let's keep it
I'll
rolling.
go. I learned to pay all monthly bills 5 days in advance, shop for bargains, learn the difference between wants and needs, and plan to save money for college and to budget your money.
All right. I think we have Blake.
Yeah, it's basically what all they said is like to pay all bills and easy tips when you start to invest in stocks. And yeah, and I learned a lot about like different entrepreneurs and investors and tips. Yeah.
Okay, Jane, really quick.
I love the list of 15, starting with the pay all the bills, down to the number 1 or number 2, especially, was learning about all the ways to, I guess, invest and plan for your financial future, that there's more than just stocks. I love that. So, and what was the other thing? I love that website where you can, that investor.gov, and plan ahead and see, and what if we invest this and what would it be when we retire. So the whole planning, I love that. So thank you.
Okay, well, Gary, right quick.
Yep, I like the 72 rule and all of that, that exponential factor of how the money just keeps growing. If you can just put it in there and just don't touch it, don't even look at it, it's working for you while you're sleeping. Yeah, staying out of debt, that's really smart. Yeah, I really like that one. And just putting 10-15% away a year, and you're going to be in it, you're going to be in the gravy by the time you retire.
So I have 2 more quick questions for you guys, and then we're going to close. So the next question, which is really important, because you guys are part of the beta test, and so we're trying, and I'm working with your mom, trying to determine, do we move, and with Gary and the rest of my board, do we move forward with this? No, for young people and for teenagers and for even young adults and adults, but mainly we're focusing really on the youth. Do you think that this, is something that we should continue to move forward with? So who wants to go first? You can say yes or no, or you can add to that.
Yeah, I think you guys should continue, because I would have never like gone into stocks if probably wouldn't have gone through this presentation.
Another question to you: how many of your friends, if you told them about this, would do it?
None of them, I don't think.
Would you mean how many of your friends would participate, or?
Oh, all of them would participate. Definitely. If they knew the benefits, and they get to learn a lot about all investing money and stuff like that. It'd be better for all of them.
Kind of fun, right? Where you could play your video games, but this is like a video game too. You go on there for minutes and see what you made while you were sleeping. Be kind of fun.
Okay, who's next? Keep on rolling, because we're going to get to that last question.
I think you guys should continue because it's a good investment for young people, and I think young people should have the advantage to this new generation.
All right. Who's next?
Yeah, I think it'd be great for young people to know how stocks work. I think it could really help the economy.
All right.
People too.
Yes, I think we should continue this. Yes.
Something good.
Jane?
Definitely. I just think you don't know what you don't know, right? And a little bit of investing in some time to learn more, it's powerful. So now, I mean, I think this is motivating and exciting, and it kind of is empowering. So, and it doesn't discriminate from age, gender, culture, status, all that. Anybody can take any amount that they have and start where you are, right? You start with what you have and build.
We're hoping to someday get more sponsors, companies, big companies, financial advisors, people like that will sponsor a kid as well. And of course, that helps them because they may become their financial advisor someday when they have a bigger amount. But that would be great. So more kids, like, you can get more money, guys,
That's right.
to invest. Just keep getting those gift cards, keep coming rolling in.
So I do have two questions, and the other one's going to be really short. So the next one, if you guys can just go around the table, overall, and you guys kind of said it, but I want to hear more clearly, what did you think about this webinar? What did you guys think about it overall? Who wants to go first?
Well, I thought it was helpful, I got all these notes down about what I'm gonna do when I, start investing,
Absolutely. Who's next?
I really like this presentation because it taught me things I didn't know and that I need to know in the future, and I appreciate it.
All right. Next.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty helpful too. I also wrote down a note. Yeah, it's pretty helpful. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, I thought this was very useful as well.
All right, appreciate that, Jane.
I absolutely. I'm, as a mom, participating and watching my kids' eyes kind of light up at the possibilities and the potential. It just feels really good to know that they're now educated so much more than I can give them, because I don't know what I don't know, and it's not a lot about this. So, and maybe one day they'll go into this industry, and help others, because
Make a lot of money being a financial advisor.
And we can help with that. We actually had a young person in our program that I actually connected with a brokerage firm when he was very young. So that's a possibility of the internship. So Gary, what do you think overall, right quick?
Yeah, I mean, we just got to keep growing this thing and getting some more and more success with it. And tell your friends, tell anyone you can, and get them in it. It would be more fun if you can do it with them. And
especially
then
you in person as well. But
yeah. So last question of a rating from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. So looking at content and looking at presentation and everything that we did, you guys interacting, what rating would you give this particular workshop? And we're still trying to fine tune it. And there's really more to this, but we're trying to cater towards, trying to figure out, okay, do we go an hour? Do we go 90 minutes? Do we break up classes? Really, this class is really a 6 months class, because it's also not just in stock, but bonds and mutual funds, but we squashed it, so, but overall, what rating, again, from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what would you give it?
I'd say 7 or 8. On that.
Who's next?
8.5.
8.5, okay.
Yeah, an 8 or 9. An 8, yeah.
Okay.
I'll give it an 8.
Okay. Jane?
I definitely would. It would fall probably around, an 8 or a 9. I think there's fine tuning and all of that, but I can see beyond that. So I'd say it's an 8+.
Okay. Hey, Gary?
Yep, 7, 8 or 9.
Okay. So again, I appreciate you guys. You guys have anything else? We're going to close. I'm going to get with Jane to figure out. So the next meeting will be just hands-on. So the presentations are done. Is actually getting you guys set up, and Jane and I talked about how we're going to do that, because there's 4 of you guys. We may just have one do it, and then she works with the rest of you guys to get the rest of you guys set up. But we're looking about, because there's a custodian account, to get everything logged in, is going to take about 20 minutes to a half an hour because this question that you have to ask. And again, that, you're not going to hear from me that much. It's just actually keying everything in. And then once I figure, you guys can tell me also, think about the 5 stock that you really want. Because I'll need to know that, and I'll have Jane send that to me because I'll begin to work on sending those gift cards. So then once you guys get in, bam, you get a chance to put it right into your account. So any last words?
Fred, I'm
Otherwise,
gonna have to go
I
real
love
quick.
you
I got to check
guys.
on my daughter before she goes. She has her COVID. I just want to make sure she's okay. So I
Okay.
gotta go. It was
Okay.
great
Appreciate
meeting
it,
all of
Gary.
you. You guys have a wonderful night. It was fun.
Okay.
Thanks, Gary.
Good luck,
Great to meet you.
everyone.
Thank you guys. Love you guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
See you.
Night.
Good night. Thank you guys.
Night. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.